Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing homemade zebra cakes. I'm actually pretty proud of how they turned out. They were a lot of work, but they were super fun to make. I will link the recipe in the description. It is not my own recipe, but I'm happy to link it for you. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. All right, to start this recipe off, it called for a yellow cake mix. Now, it actually did call for Betty Crocker Super Moist. I actually happen to have the exact mix in my pantry, so that worked out perfectly. However, the recipe calls for 15.25 ounces of the yellow cake mix. This box has 13.25. That is that shrinkflation or whatever they call it. The box is getting smaller. Okay, so I made a slight adjustment to account for that. So we start off by putting the cake mix into a bowl. We are not going to follow the directions on the box though. Okay, we have our own directions to follow. Next, we are going to take a stick of butter or a half a cup of butter and we are going to melt that. I took the wrapper while the butter was melting and I rubbed it on my parchment paper in my baking pan just to sort of grease it up a little bit. Then the recipe calls for 3 large eggs plus 1 egg yolk. I decided to only use 3 large eggs. I figured since I had a little bit less dry ingredients, it wouldn't hurt to have a little bit less wet ingredients, and I didn't want to do, half of an egg. I didn't want to waste that egg white. I figured this was the better option. Also, eggs happen to be very expensive right now. So I did 3 eggs. Okay, and I just grabbed my melted butter out of the microwave, threw that in first, got my mixer out and ready to go. Then I'm going to go ahead and put those 3 eggs in. And then we are getting 3/4 cup of milk. I only had whole milk, so I did go ahead and use whole milk. And then we're going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla. We're going to get that hand mixer ready to go and get mixing it up. Okay, so once we get this mixed up, we are going to pour it into a cake pan. Now, the directions say use a 9x13. I decided not to do that. Instead, I got out the largest cake pan I have. It is quite large. And my thought for this, so what you could do in the directions is make basically a cake. And then you would slice the pieces in half to make it like a sandwich. It's kind of like slicing a bun in half. I didn't want to do that. I felt like that was an extra step. So instead, I figured I'm just going to make it really thin across the board and then I won't have to do that extra slice. Okay, so a little bit of a different strategy here. It might have ended up making mine thicker. I'm not exactly sure. But in the end, it worked out for me and I was happy with the results. Now, I did find my batter to have a little bit of clumpiness in it. I wish I would have thrown the dry ingredients through a sifter. I've had that cake box mix for a while and maybe it just got a little clumpy over time. A little bit annoying, but I just kept trying to work on it. Also, I do want to mention at this point, my oven is preheated to 350 degrees. Now, the directions say to bake for 20 to 22 minutes in that 9x13 baking pan. I still ended up baking mine for about 20 minutes, even though they were thinner. Now, as I'm spreading the batter into the cake pan, I'm really trying to make it flat because later we're going to push these out with a cookie cutter and I want them to be as level as possible. And you know how cakes tend to kind of rise in the center? I was really trying to avoid that and make sure to get plenty of batter to the edges of my pan. I tried beating the pan down just a little bit to try to get out some air bubbles, and then it goes into the oven. Do a little wipe down, a little cleanup. And now for your zebra cake. So it's like cake, icing, and then more cake. I went ahead and worked on the icing that goes in the center. So wiped up my bowl, wiped up my mixer, got things going all over again. We need another stick of butter or a half cup. This time we just want the butter to be softened. Oh, and I will say the directions called for unsalted butter. I know you can't see because my packaging doesn't show, but my butter is actually salted. So I go a little light on the salt here in a bit. I only had salted butter and I figured it will be just fine. Now we are going to mix powdered sugar in with that softened butter. I don't know why, but I struggle with making icing sometimes. I don't know. It's not something I'm very good at. So overall, we're going to do 3 cups of powdered sugar. I'm going to slowly add it in. That is a half cup measure that I'm using. My butter just gets clumpy. It just doesn't work as well as I would like. So I will continue adding powdered sugar in, and then I'll even take a spoon to it a little bit to try to like squish the butter a little bit to just try to help integrate that powdered sugar in. Now, after a while, I just start getting frustrated and decide, okay, we're gonna add the vanilla. So it is 1 tablespoon of vanilla. Let's try getting a little bit of liquid in there and see if that helps. I will continue adding powdered sugar. So in the directions, it said you can add 2 to 3 teaspoons of milk as needed. Okay, so I was struggling. I went ahead and just kind of poured a little bit of whole milk in. I didn't measure. I just tried to keep it very minimal because you don't want to overdo it. Now we're back to mixing, and it's starting to turn into a little bit more of an icing. Gonna keep adding that powdered sugar in until we get to that full 3 cups. Then we are gonna scoop it into a bag. This is kind of like my piping bag. Essentially, it is just it's a Ziploc bag, but I make it work anyway. So we're gonna try to get that in there, put it in the corner as best we can. I am by no means a professional, but I am gonna go ahead and tape off the end of this just to keep my icing all together. I find that, we waste less doing it this way. So that's my strategy here. All right, so I set that icing aside. The cake comes out of the oven. I'm just sort of working it away from the edges. And then we are gonna flip that onto a cooling rack. As you can see, I used a very large pan. So we're gonna leave that to set for a little bit. Then I go ahead and cut it in half. And this is just because I can't fit it in my freezer. And we need to let it go in the freezer to cool for a little bit before working with it. After that, I take it out of the oven and I start making my heart shapes. I'm doing hearts. The directions call for a circle, but I didn't have a circle and it happens to be Valentine's this week. So made some heart shapes, setting them to the side. And then I am going to set those hearts actually back in the freezer here in just a second. I cut the tip off that bag and then I put a cake tip into this bag, which has a cut corner as well. This is like a double bag method and it helps keep things a little more tidy and it allows you to put that cake tip in later. Now, as you can see, I'm kind of struggling with it. My icing is a little thick. I don't have a larger icing tip than this, so this is what I'm working with. I actually end up pulling it out in a little bit because it is just not going to work, unfortunately. So I open up the bag, take that out, and then I just use the original bag that I put the icing in. All right, so we're going to start icing them. I realize I'm kind of not putting enough icing on each one. The edges aren't quite getting it, so I start piping a little bit thicker onto each cake. As you can see, I am not a professional. During this process, I do continuously put the cakes into the freezer and I'm working with them and figuring it out as I go along. I do actually bag up those cake scraps and I may make some cake pops with them. Haven't had a chance quite yet to do that, but maybe make some cake pops. As you can see with the second batch, I'm piping it a little bit thicker because might as well, we made this icing, put it to use, right? So we're smashing them, making them into a sandwich, trying to tidy them up a little bit, and then they are gonna go chill in the freezer for a bit. All right, now we are gonna get to the white chocolate portion. So I'm trying to cut that in half. It was a beast. We are gonna get this in the microwave and get it melted down. So I'm back and forth at the microwave, stirring it up, chopping it up. We don't want to burn our chocolate, all right? So stirring up, there's some lumps in there. Again, gonna keep throwing it back in the microwave till it is ready. Then I will get the cakes out of the freezer. So if you notice, I didn't use all the chocolate. I didn't want all of it to get crummy at once. I wanted to save some nice clean chocolate for later. So what they recommended was kind of like holding the cake and just doing the sides first. So I sort of like roll it in the chocolate and keep a clean top and bottom. This is quite messy, I came to realize. I also realized one of the things in the directions was to grease your drying rack. Well, I didn't because I didn't feel like doing that. And then the chocolate started actually locking onto it and hardening up on it. All right, so we're going to continue doing this. The sides are definitely not gorgeous, but it is what it is. Next, we're going to add more white chocolate. We're going to keep mixing that and getting through this, and it's definitely a process. Then, once I've done the edges of all of them, I need to do the tops. Now, if you notice, I sort of like put my hand under the drying rack to push them up. So I'm trying to like push them off the rack. See right there how I kind of like pop it off? It was a struggle, let me tell you. I used a lot of white chocolate here. So pushing those up, I'm going ahead and putting them in the pan so I don't have to move them again. And then I'm just doing like a dollop of white chocolate on top, spreading it around. And it actually looks pretty darn good. So I'm finishing up doing this. And while I'm finishing up doing this, my camera died, also known as my phone. I just film on my phone, so it died. However, I then found 2 like Hershey chocolate bars in my little candy section at home, melted those down, and then I made some little zebra stripes to put on top. I did wait and do that a little bit later once the white chocolate had hardened, but it worked great, and here's the finished product. I'm very happy with them. My husband was very surprised. They were really tasty. So if you want to give this a try, the recipe will be down in the description if you are interested. And if you want to see more of my videos, I'm going to link one right here at the end. It will also be linked in the description. So check out more of my content, and I hope you enjoyed making zebra cakes with me today.